What's going on? Welcome back to Trending Stocks. Today we're going to talk to you about SoFi. I want to go over some of the current data points, break it down what moved it, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So SoFi went up an amazing 6.6%, 1314 the low, 1376 the high, and you had a lot of good volume. So 58.6 million shares being traded, 48.05 is the average. So a couple of different attributing factors, one of which was this. So this came out yesterday about tariffs. So on April 2nd, that's when the tariffs were going to be implemented. And it was supposed to be like a blanket flat rate. But essentially, White House is saying that they're going to be kind of pivoting to have it be more targeted. So essentially, that is what the market absolutely wanted to hear. Previously, the market's been pricing in pretty much a lot of doom and gloom, but this does alleviate a lot of those problems. So there lies what actually caused it to go higher. So you had this being very fundamentally good, and then at the same time, over the last couple of weeks, a lot of those institutions that have been really planning and forecasting that these tariffs were going to increase inflation and obviously higher unemployment, cause a lot of a doom and gloom type of scenario, well, they are now FOMOing in. So that is why a hell of a lot of stocks did just break the hell out. So on a technical standpoint, things are looking fairly good for SoFi. No official news from them today, so they were merely just piggybacking off the broader market. A couple of things did come out that I wanted to share with you though. So I live in Canada. I'm sure a lot of you kind of know that at this stage. So unfortunately, even if I wanted to, I couldn't get a SoFi account, but I did get a SoFi email today. And from what I can see, I think a lot of other individuals did get this. So it says, "Hi Callum, you're receiving this blah, blah, blah about the federal loan." And so, yeah, it's kind of interesting. As far as what I can see on social media, it was actually sent from SoFi itself. It wasn't a scam email. Because even if you're reading through this, it says to, actually, sorry, that's a bad view. It actually says to call their 1-800 number, which is their true number. So I think this was a actual mistake from SoFi. Still kind of comical, but as far as what I can see, I don't think SoFi has actually addressed this yet, whether it be social media or anything. So maybe they'll be coming down the pipeline fairly soon. The only other thing I wanted to share with you is that other kind of brick and mortar banks are going to be pivoting. So SoFi is going to have a little bit more competition probably in the second half of 2025 as Bank of America starts to close a lot of its branches. So I believe that they have a plan laid out. Majority is going to be in the second half of 2025, but this is part of their business plan as they pivot to more technological advances, digital banking. So again, I think SoFi is going to have a little bit more competition. So SoFi, I think at this stage in the game, they don't have the luxury of now just sitting back and just like being safe. They do need to pull more of a Robin Hood type of approach and be a little bit more aggressive, I think, in the foreseeable future. So this is something I just kind of saw and figured I'd bring up. But aside from that, good to see shorts return. 617,000 shares today. 12.2% of the free float is being shorted. Works out to be 131.54 million shares overall being shorted. Now this is, I believe, the third consecutive trading day of having the cost to borrow minimum back at normal. So whatever brokers are out there that are trying to drum up business, they've clearly taken a step back and maybe realized that it's not worthwhile to pay someone to short a stock that is ready to move higher. But aside from that though, looking at the options, you had 15 million in calls, 4.68 in puts. 46% of all the options being done today were bearish in nature. So you didn't really see like everyone obviously jumping up and down over today. Some clearly were hedging and whatever, but you did have a lot of good volume. So 19.7 million in total premiums, 12.8 the day prior, so last Friday. So good to see a little bit higher in volume. Of the call options that were purchased today, you see a consensus for it to be roughly around that $14.50 to $15. Still, like I said, SoFi just wanted to really get back into that $13 to $17 range. So if you're into options, something to kind of keep in mind. Aside from that, the bears are anticipating for it to be sub 1250. So definitely a lot more upside is anticipated based on these levels. These are all the transactions occurring on the secondary market above $100,000. So night and day difference, big money definitely getting in. This is also the last full week in Q1. So I think in general, this whole week, you should see a little bit more of an increase in institutional transactions, of course, as they rebalance and stuff. But 2.3 million, 6.3, 1.2. 20 million, a pretty big one there, and then a lot throughout the day. So a lot of buying, very few institutions selling. So like I said, I think it is just a full-on FOMO day. A couple big transactions on the dark pool. So 1.1 million, 5.7, that was just done pretty much at market close. 2.1, 2.8. So yeah, a lot of big money getting into SoFi through dark pool. And dark pool, as I always kind of mentioned, it is linked to the actual shorts and stuff like that. With it closing at 1372, it was able to easily get above this S1, just pretty much no effort whatsoever. So Friday, it was able to get above this S2. Today, easily getting above this S1. So going into the next couple of trading days, just watch for 1359 to be a strong support. And then flip side, $15 is going to be the next strong target / resistance, followed by 1641. As I shared with you in my video yesterday, I do feel like it will continue to push higher up until this pivot point, on which it'll come down to the data points, either GDP and PCE. So that's Thursday and Friday this week. No new analyst ratings, nothing along those lines. And on the actual chart today, had a very nice push off of that ALMA. So that's sitting at 1273. Next strong target / resistance is going to be that 1457 and 1455. Very tight knit. So if SoFi does continue this good momentum and is able to kind of touch that, then you could see a nice push higher if it hits it straight away. As I shared with you, I feel like in the next couple of trading days, it will bounce off of that, consolidate, and then break out. So for those of you that are into options, just kind of, you can forecast it that way. But nonetheless, I feel like the momentum is in full force this week, and most likely, at least for the foreseeable future. So SoFi should have bigger and better things in the coming weeks. So let me know your thoughts on SoFi. Like, did you buy? Did you sell? I kind of regret not buying anything last week. I did buy when it was going down, though. I didn't buy anything this last week. I kind of regret that. But yeah, if there is a little bit of consolidation that does happen in the next little bit, that's maybe I'll kind of take advantage and buy the dip. But when it comes down to this email, did anyone else receive this email? I think there's a handful of individuals that I can see on social media that did, but still kind of crazy. And on a side note, for those of you that like don't have an account with SoFi, did you still receive this email? I was kind of curious about that. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on SoFi. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up. One final thing, pop over to my Patreon where I give buy signals on stocks, options, and crypto. Many of them have been absolutely on point and bangers. Definitely worthwhile to pop over there and take a look. Link in the description below and also the comments. With all that, appreciate all of you watching.